Hello, everybody, and thank you for dropping into this edition of Walking the Ropes. I'm Caleb.
And I am Blake. We have an interesting show for you today. We'll be covering the news for the last few days, and tonight's SmackDown, and then we'll be discussing our favorites and least favorite bits of the show, as well as your Twitter polls.
Yes, and if you are enjoying what we do here, remember you can find everything Walking the Ropes through our link tree in our bios and descriptions everywhere. That includes links to our social medias where, like Blake said, we run polls as well. We tweet about when we're going live. We are available on many podcasting platforms. We were actually approved a matter of about an hour and a half ago. As of this live recording, we were approved by iHeartRadio. So we will be on there momentarily as soon as they process that, as well as our Buy Me a Coffee and Redbubble pages. You can support us through there. But yeah, with all that being said, first late night Walking the Ropes podcast, and you
Yeah,
said it before we went live. Man, did we pick a fucking show to do a late night cast for? Oh my god, I
hey, at least
don't.
it's fresh in our minds. Like we wouldn't want to miss a single point of the show.
Yeah,
It was so important.
I normally, if it's a not so great show, which we've been lucky, and even the bad shows
Yeah,
haven't been really bad since we started the podcast. But normally, when there is even a partially bad show, we have, you know, about 8 to 10 hours to cool off, think
and
about it,
think about stuff. Yeah.
and just kind of let our mood settle. And yeah, we don't get that this time. So it should be fun. And for those of you either watching the VOD or watching live, yes, my cat Bella is very needy at nighttime, so be prepared for her to get up in my face a lot. I don't get a say. She kind of just runs my life.
Well, that's all right.
But getting into news from the past, I guess 30 some odd hours since our last
Yeah.
cast. I've got a handful here, and this first one is really fresh as of this afternoon, I guess. Apparently, there was a tweet made the night of the Rumble stating that the morale backstage was the highest it's been in months, and whatnot, because of it being the Rumble, because of it being the road to WrestleMania. Mania seems like a light at the end of this really dark tunnel. And the fact that fans will be back for at least Mania. We don't know post Mania yet.
Right.
Also, because WWE is getting kicked out of Tropicana Field here really soon.
We
Um,
kicked out their contracts coming up.
well, they're getting kicked out because the baseball season, their
Oh,
contracts
I
coming up, but that's
I
because the
didn't realize
baseball
baseball
season's
season
starting.
was coming up. I didn't realize
Yeah,
that was coming up. I thought that honestly the baseball season was canceled this year, but I hadn't really been paying attention.
I had just read the articles about it, but yeah, like their contract expires right before baseball season, which is eh, in
Yeah, they'd be
turn
pressed to
why
find a similar stadium or anything
which
like that
I mean, where else are they going to be able to find at this point that they can take up residency, because we've got,
for a long period of time.
the normal arenas are getting back with stuff like NHL going on right now, NBA coming back. Like, you really
If
can't.
only if only Vince owned some kind of like team that had like an outdoor thing outside of the stadium that they could just play in the whole time.
Hmm.
That'd be I wish there was a show that had
Yeah,
that.
but what wrestling promoter would ever own something like that, right?
I
you,
can't even keep a straight
you'd
face.
have to be a multi-billionaire for something like that. And for those of you who really aren't cluing in, we are talking about Tony Khan and All Elite Wrestling. But anyways,
Oh my god, that was so hard for me to keep a straight face. I could not do it.
But anyways, as I was saying, this tweet was talking about the morale backstage being so high, Mania being that light at the end of the tunnel, and stuff like that. And there was a meeting today,
Okay.
and apparently all that morale is shot to fucking hell. Right
Oh, I
from,
can tell.
as from what the dirt sheet said, from the boys right up to almost the top of the chain, because apparently WWE has notified everyone that they are not getting pay raises or bonuses this year. No promotions will happen, nothing.
But Vince is getting his,
Well, of course.
and probably Triple H, and probably Stephanie.
Well, yeah,
Maybe not Shane. Maybe not Shane.
the main people will get it as they do all the time and they don't fucking need it. But the actual working hands that make the thing you have done for years, they make it happen, why fucking bother? But that's apparently a thing that as of today was reported once again. Dirt sheets and shit, take it lightly until there's something official. But
Yeah, exactly.
what you got there?
To go on a lighter note, this one I was kind of even going to debate on talking about it, but with the way SmackDown went, I want to talk about it now. Steve Dangle and Edge have a war of words on Twitter over
I
who is the biggest Leafs fan.
I saw that earlier today. Um,
So,
First off, like, what the fuck, could Edge not find a pair of headphones for his fucking
right?
interview? Like that was like,
Yeah.
dude, we know you could find a fucking pair of headphones to connect to your iPad because we know you were on your iPad. You said it. But
Yeah.
like,
It
oh,
was hilarious. And for those who don't know, we obviously know who Edge is, but Steve Dangle is a um creator, I guess you could say, a content creator for Sportsnet, their YouTube channel. He does the ups and downs and the Steve's Dangits for that channel. I watch that week to week. Usually, it's how I keep up to the other highlights for hockey. And it was just interesting to see this because it was my two favorite worlds coming together a little bit, and I was just laughing. Obviously, I'm not a fan of the Leafs, but
oh,
I
are you
just I
sure?
love I I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, see,
But
I wasn't fully aware of who he was. I just saw it, and
yeah.
I mean, being an edgehead, I was like, gotta see what this is. And I just like the banter, and just him being a Leafs fan was enough for me to be like, I like,
Yeah.
he's
Did
somebody of something. I just don't know what. So,
exactly. And I mean, Steve did cut a pretty good promo, and Edge gave him props about that as well, which was pretty
yes.
cool. And apparently, Steve responded on Tim and Sid tonight, I guess, last.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so maybe there'll be an update further on that. I doubt it. It's just fun and games, but after the show of SmackDown, I wanted to talk about that.
Well, sticking with Edge, Triple H, Paul Levesque, did the media call regarding NXT Takeover Vengeance Day this weekend and was asked about Edge and his appearance in NXT. And apparently, Edge has been asking since his return last year to work with NXT talent. Which, I mean, I cannot blame him one bit. There in that roster there are dream matches that I didn't know I wanted or needed until him showing up on NXT and me going, who could he face? And then being like, oh shit, there's quite a few matches there that I'd pay
There's a
good money to
lot.
watch.
I'm running down the line in my head just quickly, and yeah, there's a lot.
There's some good ones there. But so Edge wants to wrestle down there, and the hope is that he will sooner or later.
Do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't even care who. Do it.
Uh,
So Keith Lee and Mia Yim get engaged.
yeah,
That That was a pretty neat thing. I didn't actually know they were a couple, but a huge congratulations goes out to them.
Yes, big congratulations. You didn't know that they were together, really?
I didn't at all. So when I saw that, on her Instagram, she goes, "Oh, I said yes." I was like,
Yes, the HBIC. Head bitch in
excuse me.
charge.
Oh,
That's
I
her
had
that's
no
her Twitter
idea.
name is the HBIC.
I have not read. For
Yeah.
me, I just see like Mia Yim official or whatever.
Uh
So,
yeah, she that was, I think it was part of her theme song, or was her nickname in NXT, and I didn't know what it was for a long time until on commentary the one night. I don't even know who was on commentary at that point. They're like, "Yeah, the head, that B word in charge." And I'm like, "Oh, head bitch in
oh.
charge. Good nickname. Cool, like it."
Well, I hope she goes back to that when she leaves Retribution.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And sticking with kind of going back, we were talking about NXT there, and that
Yep.
and
And
Triple
Keith Lee and
H.
Mia Yim, big NXT people.
Yeah. And Triple H there on the call as well. He was asked about the details of Steve Cutler's release, and
Oh.
he noted that he has no clue. He
Oh.
supposedly has no clue that that is not something he was involved with. All he knows is that they've been trying to take COVID-19 very seriously in that, but he was not part
Fair.
of that decision making process. And along with that, it's kind of come out because the initial thought was that Steve Cutler and Deonna Purrazzo had hosted that New Year's party. Apparently, it was actually Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green's New Year's party that they attended.
Mm.
Yeah, so
Well,
it's,
but yeah, with Perazzo's tweet, she did say we went to a party. She didn't say they attended a party or they hosted a party.
but the initial report when Cutler was
For
released
sure.
was that they had hosted a party, and that was still
Yeah.
on up to reports I
Yeah.
was reading yesterday. That was still what was being stated
For sure, but
until I
I
read a
thought
thing
that was
today.
I thought Perazzo's tweet had said that they attended a party, not hosted, so I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
but most people,
Yeah, it
you
was
know,
semantics with the wording there at the time, right?
yeah.
But people probably should have taken it a little more seriously.
But yeah,
Um,
so I just figured that was a
yeah,
interesting,
interesting.
interesting little piece there.
Yeah. Well, this one was kind of interesting. Braun Strowman suffered a blood infection over the weekend, I guess. He lost 15 pounds in 5 days and is on antibiotics and on the upswing now, which is fantastic. I hope he comes back whenever he's able to. If he needs to take time off again, that is absolutely fine. But it's
Yeah,
just
going through
a really
something like
unfortunate
that.
thing.
Yeah, I mean the thing is 15 pounds in 5 days, no matter the circumstance. 15 pounds in 5 days is not good.
He also
Like,
said his joints were swollen up with water and whatever, so he
oh
was also feeling really
jeez.
bloated. So just not in a good way. So hopefully he gets back on the upswing there.
Yeah, yeah, best wishes to him for sure. Cool note here. The Great Muda won the GHN heavyweight title uh this morning
Oh, nice.
for Noah, which I believe is a Japanese promotion. I've heard of them before. Um but I found that bit of news literally 60 seconds before SmackDown started, and then I was just so mad the rest of SmackDown that I didn't look into it anymore. But I know he's one of the um oldest people to ever hold um most companies' world titles.
Oh,
Um
wow.
yeah, yeah, he's held a bunch of world titles, and I guess he's one of the oldest to do so in most of the promotions.
Oh, cool.
So that was a cool
Well,
note, I thought. I
big
mean,
congratulations to him.
Great Muda fucking is absolutely amazing. Like we praised we've praised people like Tommy Dreamer, who's still active, Terry Funk, who's still active, but like you had Muda's name in there, and like you can go back to him and Hogan, and matchups like that up to the current day, that and we're still getting these Muda matches, and he's one that the quality of matches never seem to slip away.
Yeah.
Where others, as we have said, have, and like it's not a bad thing, they've adjusted and learned to do what they can. His matches still just seem to be, I think, because of his style, because his style was never um quite a crazy style. It was very strike based and stuff like that. I think he's been
Yeah,
able to maintain that similar quality because of that. So
for
I'm gonna
sure.
have to go and find that match and watch it. But yeah,
Excuse me.
congratulations to Muda for that.
For sure. Continuing on with the new champion theme there. Leo Rush won the Triple A Cruiserweight Championship yesterday, and he is now a double champion, having the MLW Middleweight Championship as well.
I forgot he was in MLW. I always forget MLW's a thing.
Yeah,
Like
well,
I don't know how I forget that.
that's a very interesting thing, because I had forgotten Leo Rush was actually still wrestling. I thought he had kind of gone away for a while. And to hear that he's actually a double champion over in Mexico is amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, because I feel like I remember seeing not that long ago something about him taking a step back.
Yeah,
So that's surprising to me. But yeah, congratulations there. You got
for
any more
sure.
news?
I have a couple kind of along the same theme here.
Go
Boxing
ahead.
star Anthony Joshua hints at a WWE run, saying, "I'm gonna do the WWE thing because that's what Muhammad Ali done." Literally the quote. I didn't say it weird there.
Okay. Just I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
S-
Joshua's young. Like he's actually younger than like Fury and stuff like that. So he could actually
yeah,
be it could be like
we
a
can
Mayweather
fucking
situation.
we can fucking keep Tyson Fury far far fucking away from
Right.
pro wrestling again. I'm sorry.
I if
I'm at this point. I'm so done with trying to be nice about these things
no, for sure.
because in a matter of the past 3 weeks, I've seen more fucking celebrity names from here, there, and everywhere in between be like, oh yeah, I was a wrestling fan. I might give it a shot. And I'm like,
For
why?
sure. In the case of this one, Josh was kind of not in the prime of his boxing career, but he's done a lot in his boxing career to the point where if he were to come to WWE, I actually would think he'd be more along the lines of what Mayweather did. Just kind of do his thing, literally do the boxing thing against one particular person and be done after that. And I would be fine with that because it would just probably build somebody up to look a little stronger. Um, but
Okay, okay. Can I interrupt you for a second here?
yeah.
Um, when Mayweather did it, who did he build up to make look stronger? Because the last I
Well,
remember, he knocked
obviously,
out Big
right,
Show
but
at WrestleMania.
for sure, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, in this case, do it like a person to make bigger. Obviously, in that case, it was Big Show's return and whatever that they built it around and whatever. But Mayweather didn't do horrible in the match he had against Big Show, is what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Well, he
And
did as much
anyway,
as they fucking let him do, which
yeah,
wasn't a whole lot.
exactly.
I don't know about you, but I literally just watched that match like 4 or 5 days ago when I was working out,
Really.
and it does not hold up.
Oh, for sure. No, it's not a great match, but it's not as far as boxing stars go, he's probably had one of the better matches for WWE.
I watched it, and like I remember not being a huge fan of it, 12 years ago when it happened, but I'm sitting there and I'm watching it and I'm like, wow, it's been so long since I've watched this match, and I remember it being better.
Right.
And it
Okay. Well, maybe
wasn't.
it doesn't hold up as well as I thought, but better news than a potential celebrity. These are actually wrestling signings that are being talked about here. The first one is Davey Boy Smith confirms that he's talking to WWE at a possible return in NXT.
Yes, I
Nothing
saw
more than
that.
just talks at this point. But Fightful.com is reporting that WWE has signed Christian Casanova, who has wrestled for Evolve, Beyond Wrestling, and Game Changer Wrestling.
Yeah, I know
Um,
the name, but I don't know why.
I said the same thing. He must have wrestled around here at one point because I have heard that name and I could not find out why I heard that name.
I mean, there's a good chance. There's been a lot of indie guys that have popped in up here that
Hmm.
I had no clue who they were, and I saw them once. They were good, and then they were gone. And sometimes, I mean, the thing is with independent shows and stuff like that, and especially the Smash shows that we've been to, if you get somebody like that, like the middle of the show, they do really good with their booking. And if you're a constant attendee at the shows and following some of their storylines,
Yeah,
because Smash Wrestling's lucky having the deal with uh Fight Network, not the FITE fight, the other one here
the
in Canada.
FIGHT.
Yeah, FIGHT. But they're lucky enough that they have a TV deal there and they can run some storylines. But the thing is, so if you're a regular, when you have that random kind of indie guy show up, they do really good. You're like, cool, and then you move on with the rest of the show. By the time the show is done,
Yeah,
you've forgotten the first three matches 90% of the time.
because they're usually pretty paced as well.
Oh yeah, like the matches are fantastic at those shows. But yeah,
Never a complaint for a single Smash show, by the way. If anybody ever has a chance to go to it, we're not sponsored by them, but just go.
yeah, I literally, my complaints have nothing to do with the shows. The only shows straight up that I have the complaint with, I think, are the same ones you do because we've talked about it. They ran shows at our college when we were going through together at college, and we would go to the shows, and the shows were phenomenal. But when we'd go to the shows not at the college, it was people who wanted to be there, Smash Wrestling fans, pro wrestling fans, and it was so great. The college
Yeah,
ones, it would get put out there, and just people would kind of buy the tickets, not really knowing much about wrestling, and so the crowd was a mix of wrestling fans and then people who were there to just kind of heckle and
and
shit
get
like
drunk.
that. And yeah, there was a lot of incidents of people getting drunk. Literally, the last show we were at, the last pro wrestling show we attended live, a guy slid in the ring during the main event, grabbed a hold of Tyson Dukes, and all I can say is that man was fucking lucky that security pulled him out before Dukes got his hands on him, because all I know is I want to train with Tyson Dukes one day, but I'd never want to be the drunk idiot sliding in a ring trying to. I don't even know. Did he grab his leg or something?
Yeah,
Or
he started pulling on Dukes's leg, and Dukes had like a submission in, and that's the only reason Dukes didn't do something to him.
yeah,
Like,
and the guy was sitting. That was one of the ones I think that was right behind us, wasn't it?
yeah, and he had already gotten a warning that night. So
So
he'd already been told, dude, you are. I think he got cut off from the bar, and at
more
that
than
point, I
oh,
guess his night was over.
I fucking would have cut him off.
Yeah, but
If you're fucking
yeah.
watching this, you're a fucking idiot. I don't care.
Oh yeah, I really don't. That was the stupidest thing. Any fan who ever slides in at any point, especially during a Hall of Fame speech, thinking about it, you're just the worst human being ever.
No, these guys are professionals. They have had training of some kind, even down to, we talk about people like Shaq and Bad Bunny getting in there and that. There is a training to some extent to get
Hmm.
in that ring. Don't think you're being funny,
No,
because you aren't.
we've talked about us getting involved in pro matches and stuff like that, and it's not us getting involved at all. It is literally us standing there heckling the other wrestlers, and then the move we know is going to happen because we're wrestling fans happen.
Like, I've talked about it. I've had wrestlers placed on my lap. I've been told to hold arms for chops and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um, and there's a big difference between that and getting involved. I mean, hell, I've had guys tope onto me
right.
at pro shows.
That's
There's a
getting involved, but
there's a very big difference. There's a
Yes.
very big difference. The only way I'd ever get near that ring during a match is if a wrestler made it happen.
Yeah, if a
Like
wrestler
you talking
grabbed me
about
from the ring and pulled me into the ring and said,
like,
"Do this." I'm
hey,
like,
do this.
"Okay."
I mean, the thing is, I've given a chop to a heel before at a local independent show, and that is
Yeah.
because he was literally held in front of me and I was told chop him. And the nice part was I literally talked to the heel after the show and he's like, that is the best fan chop I ever took because I knew how to chop.
Exactly. There's
I've
a
been
big
watching so
difference.
long. I've talked with guys. I've watched stuff. I learned how to chop as well. So like, there's a huge world of difference between something like that, a fan interaction, and being fucking stupid. Which
Exactly.
we've seen stupidity at a lot of these shows, if we're being honest.
My favorite quote is Forrest Gump's, "Stupid is as stupid does."
Yep. Yep.
Eh, it is perfect for situations like this because you look at them and you're like, that is just what you thought. Oh, I'm going to do this. And your brain went, no. And then your brain went, actually, yeah, let's do that. Because there was definitely a moment where they thought no, because
Yeah.
nobody thinks this is a good idea and
There's
goes
no
through with it the whole
fucking
way.
way.
Like,
But anyways, not to get super off topic. We
sorry
have
to keep hitting my mic there. I did that a couple times.
to be honest, it's not even picking up.
Oh, okay. Well,
So you're good. You got any more news there? Because we've got a
no,
handful to
not at
cover.
all.
No, none. Awesome. So we're
Sorry,
gonna.
I just had a couple funny ones. That was all.
Oh no, those were totally fine. And I mean, we got a nice little point off our chest there because
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm feeling a little better, but not too much.
yeah. Well, well, we're getting right back into that feeling. SmackDown.
Oh,
If you're watching currently live, if this is afterwards, sorry if you're watching live on Twitch here in the next little bit at all. Our poll is active and live on Twitter right now. We will be going over it once we get to our rating, and
yes.
going over what is actively there at that moment. But SmackDown review. I do not have almost anything good to say about this show before we get into it, I'll be honest.
I have pretty much nothing good to say except for the last two matches
Yeah, I have very
of
little.
four.
Was there only 4 on this fucking card?
There was only four,
Okay, well, anyways, we open the
and three of
show.
them were in the last hour. Anyway,
So we open the show, and obviously Roman Reigns comes out with Paul Heyman, Jey Uso. Adam Pearce is in the ring. Roman's entrance, the good old 6 fucking minute entrance.
I literally sighed when his entrance music hit.
Well, I messaged you because I was looking at the time and it turned over to 6 after 8, and he
Yeah,
still was not in the ring. He still had not gotten in the ring. And I'm like, you've got to be fucking with me.
yeah. It was
Um,
just,
I don't
it's
know.
so boring.
But he gets in, Adam Pearce is there, and they begin talking about, well, first off, Pearce is standing back and he's like, "Come on. Like, don't be scared. Like, you're here to serve me." And I'm like, "No. First off, that's not true. That is not true
Yeah,
one bit. He is not there to serve you. He is, in theory, an authority figure. He's even really close to basically a GM at this point, even though he's not being
I'm waiting
classified
for
as
it
a
to
general
come back.
manager. Um, but no, he is not there to
No,
serve you one fucking
he's your
bit.
boss effectively.
Yeah, pretty well. Like, he has the power to create
Well,
matches.
okay,
Or they even Paul Heyman referenced, like, what are you going to do? Fire him? Because technically, in the position he is, in a kayfabe sense, he could.
I would say in this situation, if you wanted to put it like a thing, we have Vince is the super the manager in this situation, is the owner. He can fire everyone, but Adam would be the supervisor. Like he can write somebody up and then Vince can confirm the firing, but it has to go through Vince first.
Fair, yeah, that's a fair way to look at it for sure, I guess.
That's kind of how I would look at it, but
But this segment goes
literally he's like, Edge is scared of me. I'm like, I don't know if you followed whose Edge is, but he's fought guys who I'm pretty sure you've been scared of wrestling. I know who've walked all over you on the mic because I rewatch it on occasion. Like,
yeah,
and if you don't know the promo I'm talking about when Cena literally goes, "It's called a promo, kid. You got to learn it if you want to make it in this business."
yep,
Like,
yep.
I and I'm sorry, he still hasn't.
He
Like,
really hasn't. But and if I'm not mistaken, last week there was something said about making an elimination chamber match for him, and then once Pierce was like, "Yeah, we got something," they were like, "No, Roman will face whoever wins a chamber match right after." And I'm like,
because
"What the
Paul's like, Roman's contract specifically says at chamber, not in chamber. And I'm like,
oh, fuck off."
you're just you fucker. Like you're a dick. Fuck
Like
you.
the worst part is I'm sitting here and I'm
The mm,
annoyed.
the worst part was Paul's stroke, but
Paul's I've never heard a shittier Paul Heyman promo because I love Paul Heyman. I'm a huge Paul Heyman guy,
I don't think he's ever had a bad promo.
but it sucked. Um, but
He stumbled on his words. Yeah. Anyway, I'll let you continue on. We can go on and on about that promo, so I'm just gonna stop.
well, I gotta say something real quick because I don't wanna be a hypocrite or be an idiot.
For sure.
We talked on the last cast, and I made a comment about people getting mad at Kenny Omega and whatnot, and people being like, "You realize he's a heel, and that means he's doing his job," and very much so in the same sense is what's happening here with Roman. I'm completely annoyed with the promo and whatnot, but he's a heel, so in a sense it's working. But at the same time, I'm not only annoyed and mad at the way his character is in that, but I was annoyed with the segment as a whole, not
Well,
just him. So before I come across as hypocritical and be and trying to play that, people are idiots not realizing Kenny's a heel, and me bitching about this for people to come at me and being like, well, Roman's a heel. I'm not focusing solely on Roman Reigns or or
no.
whatever in this segment. This segment as a whole has been played out so many fucking times over the weeks. It's the same fucking shit over and over again, and it's boring to no end.
Okay, and on to your point, they're both heel champions, yes. I have never wanted to turn off the show when I'm watching Kenny.
Like you
Tonight, if I didn't have to watch it tonight, I probably wouldn't have finished SmackDown.
here's a very solid point I'd like to make. You can take Roman Reigns out of this equation and put any other
Yes.
heel in that situation, run the same program we've had for months with that exact same heel, and I'd be sitting here saying the same thing about
Yep.
that heel. Like that's the thing.
Even the way they got the title, I
You
would
can
say the exact same thing.
you can remove Roman from this equation, and it's my same complaint. That's where I'm at here. That's what I'm trying to say is it's not Reigns. It's been the segment and the repetitiveness of it. But yeah, basically,
TLDR, Roman doesn't have to defend his title in Chamber, just at Chamber. I literally have that written after Paul's stroke.
yeah, and then they announce Kevin Owens. Well, okay, no, it's not the first name that's
No, it's
announced.
not. It's the one I wrote first.
Well, you knew he was gonna be in it, but Jey Uso is the first one announced, and then Pierce leaves the ring, drops the mic, and then
I thought that
announces
was
Kevin
funny.
Owens. Reigns
I like
then
that he no sold it though. Like he completely didn't care that he dropped the mic. He was just like, "Yep, I'm fine." Like,
But Reigns hightails it out of the ring, gets face to face with him, and then Heyman's just like, not now, on your time, and then
But isn't this always Roman's time?
yeah. And then we get video
Anyway,
package number 1 for Rollins returning.
well,
It's the
technically this
same.
is number 5.
Well, I mean number 1 of the night. I'm surprised we only got 2, but because I literally put video package number 1 expecting us to get 3 or 4.
Oh,
And
me
it's the
too.
same video package we've seen already now.
And I'm pretty
I
sure it's
couldn't
the
tell you how many
same,
times.
literally the same video package.
Yeah, the
Like, as
second
in,
one was a different one. It's the first time I've seen the second one.
okay, because I was pretty confident they were all the same, but maybe not.
The second one was different because it was all of his world title wins and stuff like that specifically.
Okay. Well, maybe they chopped it down because I thought I saw his world title stuff in some
There
of
was
them.
some world title stuff in the first one, but it wasn't the direct point of it. This one was
Okay.
directly Rollins wins this, Rollins win like
Yeah.
but
Mhm,
anyways, then we have Pierce and Adam Pierce and Sonya Deville backstage trying to figure out the chamber, and Sonya's like, "Let's just do tag team qualifying matches."
And I'm like, why did we need to do qualifying matches for SmackDown but not Raw?
Yeah, but
Are there not former world champions on SmackDown? Actually, think about it. Fuck, are there?
Goldberg, Braun Strowman, Bray
Goldberg,
Wyatt.
but he's on Raw.
Well, I'm just naming former Universal Champions.
Oh, I thought we were gonna name former world champions on SmackDown.
Well, technically Goldberg's a free agent.
I guess, okay, fair enough. But he was always
Um,
on Raw. I don't think he's ever appeared on SmackDown.
yeah, he's been on
Has he?
SmackDown.
Okay, well,
Well, yeah, he was
screw
on
me then.
SmackDown leading up to Mania.
I totally forgot.
But Bray Wyatt, who's on Raw,
Yeah, but like on SmackDown, who the hell is? There's not a
Seth
former champion.
Rollins,
Yeah, okay, Jinder, is he on SmackDown?
he was a world heavyweight champion, not Universal,
But
but
it would work. I mean,
I don't
Jeff
think
Hardy.
he
Oh, but he
is.
was a WWE champion as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to think because Jeff Hardy mainly just won the world title, but big gold, but
He did win the WWE at
once.
least the once that I know
Yeah.
of.
And it was only for a spell too. Like,
Yeah, Rollins, Braun Strowman,
okay, yeah,
and beyond
forgot about
that,
his
not
name.
really many more Universal title wise. Like there's former world champions. I mean, Daniel
Is there
Bryan, stuff like that.
Daniel
Um,
Bryan, King? No, that's
uh,
Raw.
uh, trying to find it here. I promise.
Fuck, there's gotta be more.
Kevin
There
Owens.
has Kevin Owens, yeah.
Um,
We are oh no, he's on Raw as well.
who?
Miz.
Oh fuck. You
He
know
was on
what?
SmackDown last week though.
You know what? Anyways, moving
It's
on.
not important. It's not important.
We get the Mysterios, Ray and Dominic against King Corbin and Sami Zayn. So, I'd like to make a point here. What has qualified any of these guys to be in a world title picture? The Mysterios have literally been they've basically been losing to Corbin for weeks with a win in here.
Yeah.
Corbin's literally just been beating the same person week after week. And I mean, sure, Zayn had a good showing last week in the Intercontinental title match, but he couldn't get it done in that match. So why the fuck is he in the world title match?
Like he didn't even want to be in this match. He was so pissed off. Like that was the one thing I could not understand. Sammy's coming out for his entrance, and he's like, I don't understand the conspiracy. You're given a shot at being in the world title match. Like, fuck you.
And by the way, this was 20 minutes into the show at this point. 20 minutes
Good
into
point.
a 2-hour show. I marked it. But anyways, the match starts off. Dominic hits a suicide dive.
Oh, and he almost kills himself.
And he really went into the announce table, and I obviously it was a good portion selling, but when he got back in the ring right before they went to commercial, standing beside Ray, he was wobbly.
Oh yeah, he smashed his head for sure.
Like, he was not, like, 100%, there was no way. Um, but, literally,
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any more notes on this match.
Um, I mean, other than it really just pissed me off how often WWE will go to commercial to just quickly fast forward through a match, basically.
It was, oh, it pissed me off. And here's the thing, though. As much as I'm like, these guys really didn't do much, I would have loved the Mysterios coming out on top, which, by the way,
Yeah.
Sami Zayn and Baron Corbin, King Corbin, sorry, uh, won the match and are moving on to the Chamber match. I would have loved the Mysterios because that would have given a really, really good moment in the Chamber, having those two face off and be like, it's for the world title.
Well, you say this, there's also been talk that Dominic's gonna be turning heel here soon. Just Dominic, and
Yeah.
that would have been the perfect time, costing Ray the world title.
See, like, he wouldn't have even needed to do a full heel turn in that sense. It literally, like I said, it's a matter
Or just
of,
turn against his dad,
like, this
basically.
is for the world title, like, we both get that, and just have them go at it for a
Right,
few. I would have killed for something like, could you imagine if they
for
were the
sure.
first two starting in the Chamber?
They get 5 minutes, right? Or is it 3?
Three, I think three.
3? I think it's
um
3.
but, like, that would have been so good.
Yeah, it would have been cool, and Ray would have let his son come out on top of whatever exchange they went through. Obviously, that wouldn't have been the finish to one of their nights because that's just the start of the chamber. I mean, it might have been, but
But the thing is, it would have given Dominic a really good showing. We would get to see Dominic and Ray, because I don't know. I have a feeling we're not gonna see those two, like, really butt heads. I might be wrong. I might be
unless
pleasantly wrong, and they might turn Dominic heel against him. But I don't know if I can see it.
the only other way, unless it's not a heel turn, is if Ray decides to give the mask to Dom. And he says, no, the only way you can get it is if you get it the way I did it, and you have to beat me. Like I earned my mask, you have to earn it from me.
Yeah, and see, at that point, it's still even just a respect
It's
type thing.
exactly, it's not a heel turn,
Um,
it's that's the only way they're gonna go against each other, but I could see
so
that being Ray's last match and Dominic's last match as Dominic Mysterio and his first match as Rey Mysterio Jr. Move it because Ray hasn't been called Rey Mysterio Jr. in such a long time.
Eh, keep him as Dominic. Let him
I
let
don't
him carve his
you
own
know what I
legacy
mean?
there.
Or if you wanted to change his name, call him, like, Prince Mysterio or something like that.
Something like that might work, but I mean, hey, don't give Vince any fucking ideas at this
Well, I
point.
wouldn't mind, him changing his name if he puts a mask on because that would make sense. It's just, you know, doesn't really matter.
Well, I mean, we're talking years down the line at this point.
Yeah, this could be 10 years in the making, this match. Who knows, right?
So,
Like,
yeah. Um but yeah, we cut to Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce again watching the finish of the match backstage, and then Rude and Ziggler come in, which I messaged you. I forgot they were tag champs.
yeah. They won them against the Street Profits, like, when we started our podcast pretty much.
Yeah. Yep.
And then I think this is the second time they've appeared since then.
Yeah. But they tell Deville and Pierce that they want in the match.
Like,
That,
well, what qualifies that their point was what qualifies Mysterios and Corbin and all them for the match, right? Basically, we're champions already, and I'm like, yeah, but you're tag
yeah, you're
team
tag champs.
champions.
You're
Like,
that does not qualify you for a world title shot. I am sorry.
like,
Um
there's things like a U.S. champion or the Intercontinental champion. Big E didn't come storming in. Where's my world title match? Like,
yeah.
the only title that has ever had that is the X Division title because it has the option C or option B, whatever they call it.
Option C, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I just, and they made a point during this conversation, which I was like, ooh, are they actually gonna do that, where they were like, both of you in one pod? And I was like, don't you fucking
I
dare.
didn't even hear that. And
Yeah.
I was wondering why Root said no, both of us in two
Yeah,
separate
and
pods. I was
that's
like,
why, because I
yeah.
think it was DeVille who was like, so both of you want to be in one pod? And I was like, don't you fucking dare do this.
So that would be a 7-man elimination chamber?
Yeah.
No.
And they're told they can qualify against Cesaro and Bryan later tonight, which was
Yeah.
like an okay type thing.
And then we get Big E's entrance,
Big
and
E
Cole
comes out.
goes,
Yeah.
he goes, Big E wants to be a fighting champion. Is he ready for another challenger tonight?
And then we cut to commercial, and then you know what? We come back, and it's not about Big E. They show the recap of the Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, Carmella, and Reginald segment from last week, because, you know, why the fuck not? And then we get a segment with Reginald bringing a drink to Sasha, who's talking to Kalisto, and you have a point about this.
Uh, like, okay, so he gives her this drink, right? And they talk and whatever. I
I don't
can't even
even
remember
remember
what the
what the
point of
segment was.
was. All I remember is as Reginald leaves, he specifically walks between the shot of Kalisto and Sasha, and he turns and makes sure he sees Sasha sip this drink. So did he spike the drink? Like,
It was very odd. And then instead of going back to the ring, we get a recap of the Intercontinental title match from last week.
yeah.
I was like, poor fucking Big E's just dancing in the ring for 8 minutes.
And he's fine with doing it, but like, okay. And then he cuts a big promo. He's saying somehow, like Tom Brady, he's still standing, and that he's made a vow to be a fighting champion and is as strong as Gorilla Glue. And I'm like, okay, those are all pretty funny. If you don't understand the Tom Brady thing, he literally had to be helped off the boat from the parade.
And if you don't know the Gorilla Glue thing, a woman used Gorilla Glue in her hair to keep her hair
And
together.
tried to lawsuit them.
Mm-hmm. So lots has happened. But then fucking Apollo Crews comes out, and I'm like, we are not doing this again. And Crews is like, I want the title match, and Big
And Big
E,
E's like, we're not doing this again.
he's like, no, literally anybody but you. And then they have a moment where neither of them are talking to Mike, and Big E's just like, no, dude, like, you're not getting this match. Step aside. And
And then screams, bring me my next challenger.
which Shinsuke walks out, and I was like, awesome, we're gonna get Big E and Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm totally okay with
Yeah.
this. And as Nakamura's coming out, we cut to fucking commercial.
And you would think because this is a title match that we would have waited, right?
So, question: was this a title match?
Oh yeah, was this a title match? We don't fucking know because we didn't see the start.
Like, I don't know if this was a title match. Here, give
And
me.
and to not even bury it at all, it ends in DQ because Cruz is a piece of shit.
I'm just trying to find out if this was in fact a title match
Probably was.
because I'm not sure.
It might not have been.
Apparently it was.
Okay,
Apparently it was.
so now I have a new gripe with this. How dare you start a title match without putting it on the TV? You started a title match without the fans knowing it existed.
Yeah. But
Like
like
that. How
we're getting a pretty decent match between these two, which obviously
Yeah.
we should. And then I didn't even notice Apollo was still out there until he jumps on the apron. And I literally I have in my notes, I'm like, why the fuck is Apollo still out there? And then he fucking slides in and drop kicks Big E to cause a DQ and then literally walks away. I'm like,
Yeah.
I am done with Apollo in this fucking title picture.
Yeah. Oh, but guess what? The next segment was much better. We got the second promo for Seth Rollins.
which was
But
different, as I said.
it gets better. The entire roster comes out for Seth Rollins' return.
Including Buddy Murphy and the Mysterios. So, if you have not been watching all that long, there was like an 8-month program between Rollins and the Mysterios. Rollins literally popped Rey Mysterio's eye out of its socket in an eye for an eye match at Extreme Rules, the horror show. Or the horror show at Extreme Rules, my apologies. Buddy Murphy
Yeah,
was a
get it right.
disciple of his, which turned on him to date Rey Mysterio's 18-year-old daughter, Aaliyah.
Listen, WWE is not the best at their storytelling.
But yet they're out there
Yeah,
to
for whatever
to
fucking
celebrate his return. But anyways, he comes out, and the weird part is he's still kind of this Messiah character,
the Messiah. I kept calling it God in here because I couldn't remember what it was.
but he didn't come out to the Messiah music and gimmick. And he comes out and he's like, the past few months have really changed me, had a baby, stuff like that. And it's made him realize that he is the great leader that SmackDown needs. And I was like, okay, maybe we are getting a bit of a gimmick change. And then he segued right back in. And I'm like, ew, I don't like this gimmick.
My favorite part is he goes, all you have to do for a better tomorrow, for a better SmackDown, is embrace the vision. And my brain went, oh, the new episode of WandaVision came out today. I didn't watch that.
Wow. What a good episode of SmackDown.
Right?
And everybody starts to walk away. The lights
Oh,
come
but
up once he's done the promo, because
yeah.
you totally couldn't see everybody walking away.
And he looked
Um,
shocked that everybody left, even though he watched people leave. He did watch them leave.
and Cesaro's there still.
But then he
Uh,
just leaves.
and then he starts to leave. Rollins starts to beat him up. Referees break it up. Daniel Bryan comes out, shoves Rollins, and Rollins like flies to the other side of the ring from the entrance ramp.
Yeah.
And
And
this is an hour into the show, by the way, at this point.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
I thought that
timestamped it.
this was going to be classic WWE storytelling. We were going to come back and Rollins was going to be in the tag match that was hinted at earlier, right?
Yeah.
No.
No, we were just done with it. When we come back,
God.
when we come back, Bailey, Bailey came out I think before commercial.
So we get like the elimination chamber, but I noticed that they keep not showing the old chamber. They've literally only shown the new chamber, and I'm like, I get it that you have your new one, but we know the old one exists and there was much better matches in it.
I also prefer the look of the old one. I understand the new
I
one
do
is
too.
better for TV. Okay, I do
I
get
think
that.
they could still get the old one into the building. I think
But
they could.
oh, it's not a matter of that. The new one, it's just because of the plexiglass on the outside. It's better for them to shoot for TV. That is
For sure.
literally according to Kevin Dunn, the executive producer for WWE. That is the only reason they switched out the chamber,
That makes
was
sense. I
because it
mean,
was better for TV.
yeah, but I feel like they could have just edited the old chamber to have the stuff they have on the new one
Yeah,
because
well,
it now feels too small. Like,
it feels small. Now I understand safety wise,
yes,
it's
no, that's
better.
fine.
I was gonna mention something specific too, not just saying the entire structure, but um, the floors on the outside of it, the old chamber, it was like a metal.
Oh,
I understand
yeah,
that's not the best to land on, but now it's very evidently, it's like a. It almost looks like some kind of like a plywood or something, like a board sitting on top. I don't like the
yeah.
spots of them on top of the pods hitting against the that plexiglass or whatever there. It doesn't feel quite right, I guess.
No, I totally know what you're saying. Like, it's just the Elimination Chamber doesn't feel the way it used to,
Well, the
and
last
that
chamber,
sucks.
somebody got speared out of the pod to the outside of the chamber because it's plexiglass on the back of the pod, which
Yeah.
I don't think it was that on the old
No.
chamber. It
No, it
was
was chain all the way
it
around, and
was
they had a little
channel,
slit
yeah, for the
for the
door to
door.
come around, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have not been a fan of the new chamber, but
I was intrigued by the design when it initially came out.
it doesn't hold up.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It's like the red cell. When it first came out, I was like, "Why?" I was like, "Maybe there's a reason," and then watching, I was like, "Nope, there was no reason."
But yeah, so Bailey comes out. We have no mention of who her opponent is. We come
Actually, that's false. I vaguely heard Graves say something about Liv Morgan. So he might have said, her opponent's Liv Morgan, but that's
oh,
why I asked you, because I heard him say Liv Morgan, and then
I
I thought
didn't
Liv
hear
Morgan was
him
on Raw.
say a word before commercial, but okay. I
I
must have just
yeah,
missed it.
so yeah.
But yeah,
Not like it mattered.
we get Bailey against Liv Morgan, obviously Ruby Riott at ringside. I was really confused because Natalia and Tamina are watching the match. Why? Why? For what
I don't
reason?
know.
What the
Be
fuck do they have to do with anything?
Probably because 'cause they're a tag team again, or yeah, again.
Okay. Okay. Breathe. Breathe. Okay. And then go figure, Billy Kay comes out. We all knew where the segment was going. You'd
As
have to be
soon as
lined up
yeah,
to see it.
no.
Billy Kay comes out trying to reason with Ruby Riott. Ruby Riott ends up tossing Billy Kay's headshots, resumes into the ring,
I think it's
distracts the
both. I
ref.
think it's headshot on one, resume on the back.
Yeah. Distracts the ref. Bailey rakes the eyes and
Yeah,
ends up leading to the pin for
yeah.
Bailey to pin Liv Morgan and win. Um,
Liv Morgan looked real strong in this match.
yeah. Um, then
I really have nothing nice to say about that.
we get Cesaro and Daniel Bryan backstage asking if Cesaro's going to be ready to compete. Cesaro basically is like, yeah. And then Graves goes to talk, not knowing that the promo's not done yet.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know.
And, yeah, and then it cuts to the Street Profits giving NASCAR champion, I think the Chase Cup champion, Chase Elliott, the championship belt for winning last year.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's been such an integral part of our society now for almost a year. Anytime I see somebody wearing a mask wrong, I just roll my eyes.
I know.
And just watching the way Chase Elliott had the mask on, I'm like, dude, come on. Like if you wear that elsewhere, whatever. I'm so tired of trying to reason with people on how to wear a mask. But I'm like, you knew you were on camera for something. You could have just slipped it properly for the 5 minutes you were on camera. But
Yeah.
but then they showed the fucking Tampa Bay Buccaneers stuff, and they showed a bunch of them just hanging out, partying, with like no masks in sight. So I'm like, who's fucking surprised
Although
anymore?
with the Buccaneers in defense, when they were on a team, like when they were in the bubble with their team sort of thing, they literally would have masks in the games. So there's really no reason for them to have masks around each other right now, because they've
The,
literally been like a family.
it was after the game. There was a
No,
picture
for
of a
sure.
bunch of them celebrating, and there was just random fucking people littered with no masks in sight. And I'm like,
Okay,
in
I was
Florida too,
thinking.
in Florida.
I was thinking if it was at like a Bucks party and it was just the Bucks players there, I was like, why would they need masks?
Oh, no, no, no. I completely agree in that sense, but no, it was one of the shots of the
For sure.
celebrations with not just Bucks players and that. And
For
I'm
sure.
like,
Yeah.
you people are something else at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, but
And then we
anyways,
get tag team match with the Street Profits versus Otis and Chad Gable. Um, this went really quickly, and honestly, it was still a really good match, even though it went really quickly.
it was the first time of the night where I was like, you know what? I didn't hate it.
Yeah,
um,
honestly. But it
Street
kind of bothered me that they like so Street Profits win. but it bothered me that they didn't get a chance to actually celebrate because they just had to have Sasha's music playing.
Yeah, Sasha comes out as the Street Profits are heading out trying to celebrate. Sasha Banks comes out, basically calls
Yeah.
out Belair, and a point that I noticed at one point, she's like, "You're like a big little sister," and I'm like, I'm trying to
I
grasp
think
your
because
point here, Sasha.
so me being the big little brother in my family, I kind of get what she's saying there. I am taller than my older sister.
Okay,
So
I'd understand it if Belair was bigger than Sasha, though.
is she not actually? I thought that they were different sizes.
I'm
I thought that
pretty sure
Belair
they're
was.
damn near close to the same size.
Oh, okay. Well, fair
And
enough
if
then.
there is a difference, there's like an inch difference, and if that's what
For sure.
qualifies, then...
Fair enough.
But because the thing is, when
And
she said it, I was like I know the point because that is me as well to my sister. My sister's eight
right,
years older than
I
me,
couldn't remember if you were
but
the younger or
but
older.
I'm the big little brother. And so when she said it, I sat there for a minute and I'm like, but you and Belair are like
Identical in size almost, yeah.
yeah,
An
like
interesting note, uh, Sasha's side plates are blue now.
haven't they always been?
No,
Since
they were red. No, they've been red all the way up until this week. I've been paying attention. They have been the same ones until now.
well, the blue plates have been out on the shop for quite a
She
while.
wasn't wearing them last week. I'm positive she wasn't wearing them last week. Because
Well,
I know for a fact within the last 2 weeks I've seen the red side plates because that's when she was wearing the black dress. She had red side plates with it. If they were just the standard like WWE logo, sure, but they were red side plates.
uh, just looking here. Yeah, they were. She's had black ones as well. They were red in October. So, yeah, there's a good chance they have been red this whole time. I don't know. I really stopped paying attention at this point,
Yeah, I just know like
if we're being
because
honest.
the when she was wearing the black leather dress, I realized she still had the red side plates because I thought it was weird. She's on the SmackDown brand, right? Uh,
Yeah.
and now she's wearing this blue leather dress. So I almost wonder if it was an accessory choice for her. Like,
Potentially. Um, yeah, I don't know why they would have had that. Yeah, like
but
I'm
yeah,
just
I distinctly noticed it now. So
yeah, like I'm scrolling through photos just trying to see. And yeah, like what I'm finding here is the fucking red side plates or the black ones.
I don't even remember the black ones.
Yeah. But I don't know. That's odd. That's a fair point. I didn't even notice.
Yeah,
Um
I'm a stickler for the side plates.
but well, I mean, as I said to you, they're such a overthought anymore. Like they were cool at first, and now when they're not even replacing side plates most of the time, like they took how long for Big E's, or like
Yeah,
we talked about Kofi's literally being black with Kofi on, like
yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I look at them because WWE has pissed me off so much with them. I want to know if they're actually going to have a good one or not. And for some people, they give them another one. Clearly, it's for people that are going to have more than one title reign.
yeah, I don't know. I just anyways, continuing on with the show. Belair comes out and I
Yeah,
don't know, was there anything meaningful said in this promo?
basically, that she's just not going to make the choice. That is Sasha right now, because
Uh
why would we know 2 months, 2 months before Mania?
yeah, pretty well.
Like,
Um
we're not gonna get it. Oh, huh. We did get Jackson Baszler interrupting.
Yeah, Nia Jackson, Shayna Baszler come out because and this was solely because
Yep.
of this. There was no other reason to have them.
I
Sasha's
wondered
like,
why they were coming out.
yeah, Sasha's like, we have footage, and they showed footage of Shayna losing to Naomi. And then Sasha was like, that's not the footage I was talking. And Nia Jax was like, don't you dare. And Belair's like, roll it. And it's a little bit of the match between Jax and Lana. Jax yelling my hole and getting shoved
Yeah.
through a table. Jax and Baszler attack him, and go figure, we get out on the apron, and it's gonna be a running bit like Titus was for a long time after his world slide. Um, they drop Jax on the apron. I was expecting a my whole shout, but they didn't.
Oh, I
To my
expected it.
surprise, took out Shayna, and that was the end of the fucking segment. I was like, what the fuck
Yeah.
was the point there? Um,
Cesaro and Bryan talk backstage. Moving on.
yeah, and then we get Ruby Riddler against Cesaro and Bryan. Zayn and Corbin come out a little ways into the match, and I actually am sitting here at this point like, I fucking swear to God, if we get a false finish main event again, I'm gonna be pissed.
But we didn't get a
Um,
fall. We just got a interesting one.
yeah, Cesaro and Bryan pick up the win. If you want to talk about the finish to it at all.
I mean, so the actual finish I like. They're clearly showing Cesaro's swing into the sharpshooter as his new finisher, the combination of those two, and that's fine. I didn't like how after when they win, Jay just comes in and bashes Cesaro with a steel chair. Uh and then Corbin and Zayn attack Bryan
So I
and
started typing out "Here comes Kevin Owens" before he even came out, because I'm like, I
oh
know where the segment's going.
yeah.
And then
It
Kevin
was a stunt
Owens
show.
comes out, stuns everyone. Reigns is watching from backstage. Owens grabs a chair, sits in the middle of the ring, and tells Roman he's coming for him and that they're not done. And we close the show.
Yeah.
And that's all she wrote. I guess we get to have our fun here. What's your show rating?
One.
You gave SmackDown a 1, eh?
I gave it a
So
one.
I
At one point it was a 0.75.
so fun fact, I as well gave it a 1. Um But here's an even funner fact. Our Twitter polls as of right now,
Oh, I saw.
75% thought it was a good show,
Uh-huh.
25% thought it was a waste of time. So obviously, nobody is sitting on the fence for this. And I would honestly like to know, the 75% that consider it to be a good show. I honestly want to hear your opinion, because I don't think I've seen that bad of a show. Like,
It was a mess.
I could probably go through every one of the early COVID era shows um in the for WWE specifically in the Performance Center, and I don't think any of them were as bad as
Nope.
tonight. I think I'd give
Even the
every
ones with
show,
zero sound.
like, dude, I would give the shows where they literally showed full WrestleMania matches during the
Those
show.
pissed me off.
I would give those shows a higher rating because there was still more going on in those shows
Mhm.
that was entertaining. Even taking the 40 minutes out that they showed WrestleMania, I could
Yeah.
pick out more good in most of those shows than this one. I honestly don't think I've hated a show this much in a long time.
Yep.
Just being honest.
No, 100%.
So,
Yeah, if we want, I guess we can just move on to match of the night because there's nothing else we can say about the ratings. It was shit.
yeah.
Or yeah, match of the night's always the one we move to, right?
Yep, match of the night. What'd you got? What
I gave it to Street Profits versus Otis and Gable because that was the first match that I was like, oh, that wasn't shit.
So I gave it to that as well, and I also partially give it to the main event because it was the only two solid matches out of the show that
Fair
weren't
enough.
terrible.
Fair
Like
enough.
I was trying my best to find the good. Um,
Uh, yeah.
you got any more else to add to
No.
match of the night? Okay.
No.
Segment of the night.
So my way of getting out of having to deal with finding something other than another match that I kind of liked for segment of the night, I just gave it to the main event because I didn't like anything else of this show.
Yeah.
That was it.
I gave it specifically to Kevin Owens stunning everyone because
Fine.
Owens ran out, and I was just like, sure. I like Kevin Owens. Why not?
I enjoy that he's kind of becoming the Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he needs a Vince McMahon, and Roman Reigns isn't gonna be Vince McMahon.
No, he's not. No, he is not. Um, I
And if
agree.
Adam Pearce has to be that Vince McMahon, so fucking be it. But let Adam Pearce be the Vince McMahon,
And
or fucking get Vince to do it.
the best part is Pierce has pro wrestling training, so he'll
Exactly.
be even in the ring sense, because we did get a lot of the McMahon in the ring in the Stone Cold feud. He can be even better than McMahon was
Yeah.
ring wise, and we just have to build him up as this heel authority figure, which we've seen him enough. There's no reason we can't build him up. Hell, far shot. I'm not too big of a fan of the idea, but hear me out for like 30 seconds. Throw him with Reigns. Just get everybody to hate him more than they already do. Split him off and give us Owens and Pierce. Give him a jumping block to jump from. And
So
honestly, at
like,
this point, it's have him actually turn into the puppet for Reigns. The yeah, we'll give you whatever you want, Roman. Like, yeah, you are the head of the table. Yeah, we agree. Um,
mhm,
Make Owens get pissed off specifically with Pierce. Like, you had dignity, you had balls, and you threw him away.
yeah.
And build that feud up, split him off from Reigns, and just keep that
My
heat
issue is
going.
I don't know how they'd split him off from Ray.
I don't know either. I was just trying to give him a jumping off point.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, um, yeah. Performer of the night.
I gave it to the 8 people who actually put on a good show for the fans tonight. So that's Brian, Cesaro, Rude, Ziggler, Otis, Gable, Dawkins, and Ford.
So, I as well gave it to the 8 people who actually had a decent match on the show.
Thank you.
I on here it says I my performer of the night is the 4 from the main event and the 4 from the other good tag match.
Mine is literally the 8 people who actually put on a good show.
Because the opening tag match, like, I love Ray. I'm a huge fan of Ray. I'm really liking Dominic's work so far, but the match was not what you would expect from those two,
Not at
which is
all.
disappointing. And I mean, you got Sami Zayn on the other side.
Mhm.
Let's be honest, Sami Zayn
You
is
couldn't have
fucking
given a
amazing.
better partner for Corbin. Like,
And it didn't hold the fuck up. So,
at
um
all.
and then I don't think we can sit on this too much because it's basically been our review. But worst of the night, legitimately,
Everything else.
I gave it to most of the show. That is in my document. Worst of the night says most of the show
So, yeah,
because it sucked.
besides my match segment and wrestler, everything else. Whatever doesn't fall under those 3 things was shit.
Because
It was
like
the worst.
let's run through segment to segment, like, and I mean really quick, like 5 seconds per segment. Opening
Yep.
segment sucked.
Yep.
Nothing good came out of it.
Nope.
Mysterio's against Corbin and Zayn was
We got finalization for more people in the Elimination Chamber match. Ooh.
and it really doesn't feel like they earned it. It just felt kind
Nope.
of thrown there. Rude and Ziggler segment sucked. I wanted Big E's to be great. I thought we were gonna get
Yeah.
something great with Big E and Shinsuke. I hate how I've bitched about it for weeks now. They had him come out. We had a million things before we even saw him again. The Apollo Crew stuff sucked. We've seen Biggie and Apollo enough.
Yeah.
Apollo's come short enough. Get him out. I don't think Apollo has the on-screen charisma either
No.
to really take that title at the moment.
He has
So,
some work to do, and I don't think he needs to go anywhere. I just think he needs to kind of have a non-title feud for a little bit to just give him something to do.
like, don't get me wrong, Apollo Crews, amazing athlete.
Yeah.
He is a very good wrestler. His mic skills aren't the worst, but he's just not somebody who needs a title right now
Put
because
him in a feud with somebody like Buddy Murphy
sure,
and
we
just
could
let
get
them
something good
go.
there.
Just let
Yeah,
them go and just get mad at each other for Cruz talking to Aaliyah for a second.
sure.
Sure.
Bring her back in. Sure, I don't
You know
care.
what I mean? Like, as much as we don't want to have to do something like that, just do it. Like,
Yeah. Rollins segment. I was so disappointed. Like
I knew
completely.
it was good. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be.
It was a waste of a segment. We knew he was coming back as this. We knew where it was going right from the get go. Why the fuck did we bother? Why the fuck did we have the Mysterios and Murphy even out there? That
Why
makes
do we have
zero
anyone
sense.
out there?
But Bailey and Liv Morgan wanted it to be a good match. They're both good wrestlers. Natty and Tamina made no sense in there, and then go figure, we've had the same finish. Basically, we've had week after week after week now with Billie Kay getting involved.
I wouldn't be mad if she started doing it with different women. It's just she's always been doing it with the Riot Squad.
Like, get the point. They don't want you. Done.
Yeah. Move on to
Um,
like Natalia. Like, but no, yeah, move on.
Street Profits, Otis and Gable. Good, solid, first good match of the night. With a
Yeah.
legitimate finish. Um,
The main thing that it needed.
the Sasha segment thing, no. Um,
I swear if we just next SmackDown, oh, Sasha Banks got drugged. What?
fuck. Okay. I need a minute after that.
But like, I don't know under what other reason he would have sat there looking at her for.
It felt really awkward, yes. And then the main event in that was good. So like when
It
I say
was.
most of the night, it's very evident why I mean most
There
of the
was
night.
two matches that we can say were good, and the rest of them were bad. Let's move on to two shows that will probably actually be really, really good.
So yeah, so we will
I
we
guess we
will
can do our predictions for SmackDown if we want to, but I don't
Oh
think
no, I flipped predictions and we're gonna flip we'll do first side, we'll do NXT Takeover or no.
No Surrender comes
We'll
first.
go no surrender first. We'll go no surrender first. That's right. Thank you. Um so I've got the match card up here and I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah,
Obviously we've got just under probably 20 hours until No Surrender, as well as Takeover, card subject to change literally right up to the minute, because I believe both these shows should be live.
should be. And I mean, I would hope Vengeance Days changes a bit because it's not got as much as No Surrender.
Yeah, but we'll run through just the card, give any quick predictions for matches, stuff like that.
Yeah,
And then obviously we will be back Monday. Uh, we should be good for 11 a.m. But obviously we are card subject to change for that, just in case as well. Um, but we should be good for Monday at 11 to review both these pay-per-views. Um,
absolutely.
but yeah, so I would assume you're on the wiki page.
Actually, so what I did was I ran through my entire card from the wiki page and just popped it into a doc for myself.
So it's still in the same layout as what was on the wiki page, is what I'm saying.
Sh-
So
should be, yeah.
so your bottom match is Decay against like it cuz on here
Yeah,
yeah, okay. So I figured we'd run bottom up because number 1 on that is what will probably be the main event.
yeah.
I would assume that tag match is the main event.
Yeah, I
So,
wrote mine on my document top down, so like it's world title on the top and whatever. So I mean, if one of my matches is out of place, I'll just scroll to it.
Okay. Well, I figure we'll start with the 6-person tag match. We've got Decay, which is Rosemary, Crazy Steve, and Black Taurus, who we discussed
Yes.
a fair bit on the last podcast
He's
against,
looking strong.
yes, yeah, against Triple XL, which is AC Romero and Larry D, as well as Tennille Dashwood, and I would assume Caleb with a K will be at ringside for this.
I'm gonna imagine he's at ringside, but they don't seem to be advertising it as such. Maybe he'll be hurt from his match, though. Actually,
Oh, yeah, well, I guess Black Taurus kind of did run a fucking hole right through him. Um,
yeah, you could say he was the red moving flag.
he pretty well was. Um, I with Black Taurus, if it would have been maybe somebody else, maybe somebody on the Impact roster, it could have been a toss up. But I think throwing Black Taurus in there, I'm probably gonna give this to Decay.
Yeah.
Um, because I
If he
don't.
doesn't pick up AC though, I'll be disappointed.
Oh my god, man, that. Oh
And I don't
wow.
mean like a body slam, I mean a suplex.
That'd be nuts.
And I'm not talking German, I'm talking vertical.
Yeah, well, I know AC had posted on Twitter, I believe it was AC, that he has actually dropped a lot of
Oh, I
weight
bet. For sure. And it's difficult
since.
for a big man to drop pounds. It
Oh
is.
yeah. Oh yeah. I hate when people are say make comments about,
I am in no
if.
way knocking on AC there. That would be a great feat for Tarus, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But I hate when people try to say, big people can drop pounds, drop weight, stuff like that faster than somebody who's smaller, and it's like, as somebody who has been a bigger size, I can tell you right now, no, that is not the fucking case.
It isn't.
For me to get
Sometimes
to
you can
where
get
I
on a steamroll, but other times you can't.
well, for me to get to where I am right now, which has been the lowest weight I've been in 10 years,
I'm at
uh,
about the same point.
it's taken a ton, and I still by no means am like in shape. So,
No, exactly. Like I'm
like,
a far shot from shape, and I'm not even working out at this point. I'm literally just doing walks and stuff to work. So I mean,
yeah,
like,
hey, it makes
yeah,
all the difference, but
it really does.
I know AC's dropped a lot of weight, which I just wanted to
Good
bring
on
up.
them.
Very good for him. But
Maybe triple
still,
XL will
he
become
is.
double XL one day.
I'd love for that to happen if he's aiming to bring down even more once he hits so much. If they would change it to double XL, I'd be totally okay with
I
that.
and I would
Um,
applaud it as soon as it happens too,
yeah,
because it'd be so because it really is because of AC. Because no offense to Larry D, he's not as big as AC. Like
Larry is bigger, but and the thing.
AC is on another level. Like he's Yokozuna big.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well,
Like
he definitely was.
right, yeah. I'm picturing him at All In still.
Oh yeah, when he was at All In, he looked very much so like world title era Yokozuna for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, like, don't get me wrong here. Us bringing up Yokozuna, I'm a huge Yokozuna fan too.
Oh yeah.
So
We are both considered big guys for the people around us, so we love big guys in
yeah,
wrestling.
that's just it. When we mention somebody being a big guy or something, or one of the girls being a bigger girl or something, by no means is it a judgment. It's it's really hard to sit here
There's a
and
reason we shoot shoulder up.
yeah, yeah. Good point. Um, but yeah, I mean, Black Taurus giving a nice suplex to AC would be really, really good.
I wouldn't mind a stalling suplex, but I feel like that's next to impossible.
Ooh, that yeah, that watch us be watching tomorrow night. It fucking happened. Oof.
I'd be sitting there just like,
Just gotta sit there, jaw on the floor, like literally.
yeah, just absolutely in awe of what Tarus is
AC
doing.
AC's feet just waving in the air a little bit.
And yeah, as a big guy, being lifted is a weird sensation.
Well, yeah, because as a bigger person, you're always the one getting run at and just kind of taking the bumps, or tossing somebody. So when somebody, I've got stories which you've heard,
Yeah.
of friends who, I shouldn't even say friends, one friend in particular who I don't know how he is, but he is as thin can be, but he can pick me up like I weigh 90 pounds and toss me. And he is the
Yeah.
only person I've met in years who can do it. And there is not a weirder feeling than having somebody when you haven't been picked up for years, when you've been the one to pick up for years.
Yeah,
When you have somebody
when your
with
feet yeah, and
with
when your body's been firmly on the ground for close to 21 years,
and
it's a
you
weird
have
sensation.
somebody just pick you up like it's nothing. It's like, I'm not okay with this.
You get that has anybody ever been over a roller coaster, that feeling you get
That
kinda in your
feeling you
stomach?
get, yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my
it's like
god.
that where you're like, "Oh, oh, okay, I'm up now."
Yeah, like
Like
I'm not used to this. Put me down.
yeah, exactly. It's not even like a scared thing, it's just like, "Oh, shit, like, I didn't expect you to be able to do that."
Yeah. Yeah, and like I
But yeah,
said,
Decay's
like,
gonna win. Decay's gonna win.
yeah, for sure. Six knockout tag team match. Jordan Grace, Jazz, and ODB against Deonna Purrazzo, Kimberly, and Susan.
Yeah.
Um, this could be a toss up because I mean the thing is we give the faces a good showing, but we also have the knockouts champion on the other end.
Yeah, and she's the only, Impact champion not defending on the card.
Yeah. So the only way I see Deanna's side losing is Susan eating the pin.
Susan or even Kimber.
Possibly Kimber. I see it more likely with Susan.
Yeah,
Deanna will
just because
not
it's the way
eat
she
the
is.
pin.
No, no, in no way at all will Deanna lose, because she just can't, and she can't come out looking weak either, so I have a feeling that as soon as she sees that her team is about to lose, she's gonna head for the ramp.
Yeah, and I think on the other side, it's only fair. If somebody's gonna eat the pin on that side, 95% chance it's ODB,
Yeah.
and the other five is Jazz. I don't see Jordan Grace eating the pin in this.
And if Impact suggested that, ODB and Jazz went, "Well, why would her take
Yeah,
the pin over us? We have been here for so long. She's a new girl. No, she's not losing in this match."
I like I said, I do not see Jazz eating it either because she is
No.
kind of regularly active, even being one of the older
I feel like she
competitors.
is on the end of her contract with Impact, though, with the way they've been hinting at her run here,
Well,
but
she had retired last year if I'm not mistaken and then came out of
yeah,
retirement for this. But the thing is knowing ODB's stint is short only makes
exactly.
sense if that side loses. ODB eat the pin. As much as I love ODB.
But
Um
she's definitely the type that would put somebody over, like,
oh, 100%.
so
Um
it's not like it would be a bad thing, and it wouldn't mess with her career at all,
no, I don't think
and it's not like this would be her last match out.
oh, no, not I could see her. She's probably going to keep doing this, like come back for the 2-3 shows just to get a segment over, once or twice a year for
Yeah.
a few years. I don't see why not. I don't see her
It's a
signing
Legends
long
thing,
term
like
anywhere.
yeah. I
um
mean, she's probably a mom now, like, she probably has been for years. Um, like, I just it's not a thing that she's not gonna be likely hanging around doing wrestling for a long time. It makes sense. She's at that point in her career where she's done enough to be able to come in, get a nice pop, leave. And when
yeah.
she decides to hang it up, they're gonna give her her due.
Yeah, and fun fact about ODB, really, really quickly here. I had read a thing a few days ago. Apparently, she had signed at one point with OVW in
Oh,
Kentucky when they were still developmental for WWE, and I guess Hunter and a few other people came in to scout, and she was part of the team there, and she had went up to Hunter and told Hunter like, "Hey, I've got a contract offer from TNA. Um, and obviously, like, it's something I'm considering, but
Yeah,
like, I'd like your opinion, being from like somebody who's in a spot, and he goes, if I'm being honest, take that contract, because for them, once they finally find something for you here, it's not going to be worth it if you're already being offered something good over there.
exactly.
Um,
And when
which is
somebody
a
like
really
that
cool
says
thing.
something, yeah,
Yeah,
somebody
for
like that says something, you listen.
yeah, exactly. And the other fun thing I'm noticing really quick is the people who are just learning of ODB for the first time, wrestling fans who are just learning of ODB. I'm loving the people finding out what ODB stands for.
Honestly, I still don't know. I've never known.
Old dirty bitch.
Ah,
Which,
I've never looked it up.
well, the thing is they said it on old pay-per-views, like during like her original run.
Yeah,
And I've
I
never
saw
seen
her secondary
anything
run.
to say anything against it.
Right.
So I always assumed, like, when they made those comments on commentary, that that was namesake wise, which, I mean, with the gimmick,
It makes
totally
sense.
makes sense.
Yeah, I saw her run with like Young and or
That was
Diener even
that
maybe
that
as
was
the
some
tag
good shit.
champions,
That was some
one of the
good
two.
shit.
But yeah, I didn't see her initial run.
Yeah. Speaking of Diener, Jake something versus Diener, along with Eric Young and Joe Doring, Violent by Design.
Yeah,
What do you give here?
Diener's gonna win with help from Violent by Design, and that's gonna be how this goes until eventually Jake joins Violent by Design.
Yeah, so I'm giving it to Diener as well, and I had said it on yesterday's podcast, um, talking about Impact. I could see it leading to Rebellion in April, and that'll be Jake's final, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it'll be a
like
crazy match. It'll be like a Diener compound match or something because they
s-
have the Diener compound already referenced.
yeah.
So
So it'll come down to, okay, if I cannot beat you this one last time at Rebellion, then I will join, type deal.
yeah,
Is what I think we're leading to. But I'm gonna give
and
this
it
one to
would be a
Diener.
fitting one to Rebellion. That's a fitting name
Exactly.
for.
Um, Texas Tornado no disqualification match for the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championships. We have Fire and Flava, which is Kiara Hogan and Tasha Steelz, the current champions, against Havoc and Nevaeh.
Havoc and Nevaeh are going to win clean, and they should have just won the tournament.
I agree. I agree on both points there. Um,
And I
I
think even Impact realizes they fucked up because there's no way they would have immediately 180'd like this.
Yeah, the storylines felt really odd. And like, no overall disrespect to Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz. Like, I've known
No,
of Kiera Hogan's work. Um and she is talented in the ring, in that. Tasha,
for
I've
sure.
not seen a lot of, but what I've seen has been decent. I felt like the direction was really odd at Hard to Kill, and I think
Hmm.
the point was to, put the faces over, but then they flipped it so quickly that it doesn't, it really doesn't feel like it's going anywhere other than Havoc and Nevaeh taking it and then
Yeah.
going off to something else, and probably repackaging Fire and Flava, or letting them do their own thing until it comes back around.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, maybe keep them as Fire and Flava, but let them just kind of slowly change their gimmick, sort of what New Day did before they kind of gained their
Mm-hmm.
prominence.
Yep.
It just seems like they pulled the trigger way too early on Fire and Flava before they let the mass majority of the audience actually get a feel for them.
Yeah, where Havoc and Nevaeh, their pairing just seems more natural.
Yeah, well,
I don't know
especially
what it
when
is about them, but they just,
well, my favorite thing about their entrance is when they are hanging on the ropes there and they put their heads together. Like they just look really connected as a unit when they do stuff like that.
yeah.
Whereas Fire and Flava, they enter, I think, from separate sides of the ring. Like they don't look like a group.
Yeah.
Like,
It
as much
feels
as they
odd.
fit, they look good together visually. They don't act like a group, I
Yeah.
guess.
Exactly. So give it to Havoc and Nevaeh, let them have a good, decent, strong run with it, and then,
Yeah.
you know, um,
Maybe bring back like a beautiful people run to let them kind of stomp over sort of thing,
sure, yeah,
you
something
know.
like that. Yeah,
Obviously not let beautiful people take the titles, just let Havoc and Nevaeh run right over them.
agreed. Yes, agreed. Up next, the triple threat revolver to determine the number one contender for the Impact X Division Championship. We have Willie Mack, Trey Miguel, Suicide, Josh Alexander, Davari, Chris Bay, Blake Christian, and Ace Austin, along with Madman Fulton. With Ace Austin, Madman Fulton is not in the ring or not in the
Mm-hmm.
match. This one, I mean, the thing is, the momentum points towards Trey
Yeah.
very evidently. Um,
Unless Sami Callihan gets involved.
that's the thing. Do we like Ace Austin also see like if you were to pick one from each side, from like the tag team match on Impact this last week, I think the very evident names that you're gonna pick are Trey and Ace.
Or Chris Bay, I could say, would be the other option.
Chris Chris Bay's definitely not a bad pick in that sense. It's just very much so revolving around championship wise. It seems like they've been pushing Ace for that spot
Yeah.
since Hard to Kill in that. I don't know who do you give this to?
So I'm gonna give it to Trey. But I think he's gonna do it right from starting in the first triple threat. Um, but Sami Callihan is gonna come out, and instead of like us thinking he's gonna sabotage him, he's actually gonna try like help him basically, and Trey's gonna be confused. Basically, Sammy's gonna try to
Something
uh
will happen to let Trey pick up the win, and he's just gonna be um it's gonna be that look of I don't understand why you're helping me. Like
yeah,
this
and
this
basically
doesn't seem like this dynamic.
the next few promos from Sammy are going to be like, I'm going to pull that potential out of you that I see that you just don't have the ability to access, you know?
Sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't mind that one bit. I'll
And I
I'll
think,
give that too. Yeah.
no offense to Trey Miguel, he can't run by himself, unfortunately.
Oh, but he's had two crutches this whole time,
I
and
don't think they were the crutches, as evident as to what MSK is doing.
yeah. Well, M- MSK. Who's MSK?
You mean
Um.
those rascals are flipping crazy?
Yeah. Up next on the card here, we have a tag team match. Eddie Edwards and Matt Cardona against Brian Myers and Hernandez.
Yes. So
Cardona's going over, I want to say.
yeah, but I feel like Hernandez or Hernandez, however you want to say it, is going to turn on Myers.
You think?
I think so. Just by that interaction they had with the money, he looked so mad. I think he went and talked to Matt and Eddie and was like, "This guy, what's your issue with him?" And they'll explain and be whatever. And then towards the end of the match, Hernandez is going to look at Myers and just be like, "Walk out, flip the bird and walk out."
I bet you Hernandez doesn't show when his music plays. Bet you
Oh,
Fallah
that would
Bob
be
took him
even
out.
better. What happened?
Fallah Bob takes him out for his money. I'm
All
sticking
right.
with it. I'm sticking with
All
it.
right. I mean, yeah, honestly, the way he looked at it, yeah, fair enough. I could see it.
Fallah Bob takes out Hernandez for the money, and Johnny Swinger takes Hernandez's spot. And then Matt Cardona still goes over.
I mean,
the,
yeah,
the
the
outcome
win will
stays the
still be Matt
same.
Cardona's.
But I bet you, for one reason or another, Hernandez isn't there. I want it to be because Fallah Bob took him out to have money for the Swingers Palace. Even
I
though I
at least
don't like the
want
Swinger Palace segments, I like Fallah Bob.
I really like Falaba, and that's probably due to the fact that I just like big guys. I like seeing big guys who can do good work in the ring, and from what I've seen of Fala, he's actually able to move in the ring. So
So I like that, and the other part is he's the only part that I chuckle at during the swinger segments. The rest of it I cringe. But
do you want to
anytime
use
they have
Cookie?
when, when they did that, I was like, fucking, like, the only person you could put in that spot is like fall him off or to make it work. So
Yeah, it's like oh, who was the big funny man? Like I can't think of his
Big
name.
Dick Johnson.
All right, we're gonna move on, I guess.
Come on. What's wrong with him?
I honestly can't remember who I'm trying to think of right now.
But do you remember Big Dick Johnson?
I try to forget.
I don't I I still can't believe that was a thing.
There were a lot of bad gimmicks.
But the worst part
Yeah.
is he like wasn't even a wrestler. He'd just show up during these segments in baby oil and a like a basically a fucking diaper. And
You call that a diaper? It was a thong.
oh, there was a thong during I figured we're going into Valentine's Day. He was Cupid one year. If you don't
Was he?
remember that. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, actually I do remember that.
Yeah, it's hard not to picture it knowing that segment. Moving
Oh
on,
jeez. Yeah, no, we need
uh
to.
Impact X Division Championship match. Champion TJP defending against Rohit Raju with Mahabali Shira at ringside. Um
Yeah, TJP is gonna retain, but he's gonna have to fight both men pretty much the entire match. So like the ref's gonna constantly get distracted by Rohit, and TJP is gonna constantly have to take out Shira.
so I'm in a toss up here because I can definitely see them going that way.
Oh, actually, I just thought of something kind of interesting. I'll let you finish your point, and then I'll say mine.
Um but they've really put themselves with a double-edged sword here because if TJP retains, then all the build up to him swapping over to the manic gimmick kind of just makes no sense into it. And then, but the thing is, if we put it on Rohit, then we have to knock TJP right out of the picture and put, which I mean, we do have that revolver tournament. Um, but we'd have to knock TJP right out of the title picture if he loses, because then it means Rohit was right and TJP just could not beat him on his own.
Right. So my one thought about that is I made a point, I feel like, on this podcast where Manic is gonna be TJP's demon, like Balor. And so No Surrender, it is gonna be Manic.
Ugh. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Rohit.
I mean, but if it is Manic, I feel like Rohit will win. But because that way, like with Shira and whatever, they'll have the plan for me. I'm not even gonna attempt.
Mahabali Shira.
I literally write it as Shira because I don't want to even bother trying to attempt it. Can't even say attempt.
Bro, that name's easier than the Japanese wrestlers for AEW that I absolutely butchered, which I'm still apologizing for.
I
Um,
I I at least butchered them with you, so that way we both got in trouble.
I appreciate that. Um, but yeah, if he comes out as Manic, I would really like to see Rohit pick up the win
Yeah, but
because
Shira has to help him in some way.
yes, because we need Rohit to be a a heel in that sense. He can't just keep being the complaining heel. He needs to get that side to him. And if Trey does win the revolver, it will kind of make sense because he's still going to try to play the face. Sammy's going to try to turn him. I think it's all going to work out.
Yeah, story-wise, it seems to line up that way.
Um the Impact World Championship, Rich Swann defending against Tommy Dreamer. Rich Swann retains.
Yeah. Well,
Love Tommy.
hmm.
Love Tommy. I would love Tommy to win the world title. I do not see them putting it on Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, but the way Swan retains for me is Moose is going to come out and just everything.
Or do we have Tommy Dreamer win because Moose costs Rich Swan the title?
What? So then we can literally watch Moose murder an old man?
Well, yeah, because Moose knows he can beat Tommy Dreamer.
I hate that now that makes sense.
He has questions about his ability.
Well,
He feels
I don't think he
confident that he can beat
questions.
Rich Swan,
I was gonna
but
say, I don't think he questions he can beat him. I think he knows for a fact. We'll pull out the Steiner math. Tommy Dreamer knows he can't beat me.
like the thing is Moose is very confident that he can beat Rich Swan. But the thing
Yeah.
is, it's been proven in the past that Rich Swan has enough fight to put up
He's
against
got a
Moose.
33 3/3 chance, whereas Tommy Dreamer only has 22 2/3 chance.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Scott fucking Steiner, for that math.
I love that Impact always runs that promo every night too. With the if you watch it on Twitch, for those who don't,
That's why I
um,
watch it on Twitch, because I get to
yeah,
see that promo. The
they
worst
run
part
like
is the
the best
commercials.
promos.
The commercial during the commercial breaks, it's the same things every week. It's AJ Styles and Jerry Lynn winning the tag team titles. It's Bully Ray revealing he is the leader of Aces and Eights. It's the Scott Steiner promo. It's Booker T's debut.
Yep.
Trying to think.
Well, yeah,
AJ
it's
Styles winning the world title.
yeah. Which one? I mean, I think they show a couple different versions of that one though, because he has a couple wins.
The main one that they've shown since I've started is it was the four-way. It was him, Sting, Angle, and
That's probably the one that I normally see.
I
Yeah,
can't even think of who the last one is, because Sting goes out, dives, and gives Styles the win because
yeah,
everybody rushes in the ring. Um, but yeah, I if Moose does not get involved, Swan wins. If Moose gets involved, it's hard to say.
yeah. And I feel like Moose gets in trouble in some way, so that way at the next pay per view, it's not Moose challenging. It's somebody else, and that way there's this further long storytelling for this title because
Yeah.
there's no with the way Scott D'Amore has been, he's been the no shits kind of guy right lately. I feel like Moose is going to be uh gone for a while.
Yeah. Like, I will feel bad if they put the title on Dreamer just for it to be a transition period. If Dreamer's cool with that, then fine.
Well, I think Dreamer's definitely cool with that. He's done it in his entire career.
That's fair. I hate picturing somebody like Tommy Dreamer because of being such a big Tommy Dreamer fan. I hate
Yes.
seeing him as just they'll put it on him so Moose can beat him and we don't have to bury Rich Swan type deal.
But I
Um,
mean, well, maybe we don't let Moose beat him. Maybe we let a Mr. Kenny Omega collect another Infinity Stone.
from Dreamer.
Yeah.
Poor Tommy. Poor Tommy.
But the thing is that would fit.
You're fucking talking about Moose murdering him.
Right. But the thing is, Kenny would the storyline makes sense. He comes in and he goes, "Ha, I already beat Swan. I'm gonna beat Tommy now." Like,
Okay, so Moose costs Swan the title. Dreamer wins it, obviously. Scott D'Amore is pissed, suspends Moose
then from
indefinitely.
North Carolina,
Not from.
well,
From.
training out
It
of North Carolina,
training
sorry.
out of, or he went to a restaurant once, or
He had some food in.
I literally have one of the entrance things saved. Uh, because I was being asked the one day. A little side note here before we get into the main event of this. My nephew is really into wrestling at this point. He's 7. He loves it.
Start him
And
young.
because I've been watching it for so long, he knows he can hit moves on me. I can hit moves on him. So I've got my my mattress as well as a king size mattress that we put on the ground. We stack one and another, and I have an L couch, as you know. We'll put it right in the corner and we'll wrestle. And
Yeah.
he has a blast because like the corner of the couch is the top rope. I sent you the video of him hitting um the
Coffin drop.
coffin drop on me when we painted our faces. He's a big Darby Allin fan. And yeah, wow, sorry. I just had a total moment there. Oh yeah. So the one day I was wrestling with him and he's like, be Kenny Omega, as kids are. So I was like, sure. So I went and grabbed my leather jacket, my sunglasses, got my hair all kind of wet and curly because my hair's really easy to do that.
Yeah.
And I put his music on because I always put my music on the Echo. I have a whole playlist of them. And I was like, oh fuck, I want to do the intro. So I found a Reddit post of the very first introduction. And I'm like yelling it from the other room, yelling the introduction, but I had to screenshot it because Reddit was being a pain in the ass. So I literally have one of the first introductions, the long introduction. And all I can say is props to fucking Justin Roberts for getting those introductions out in like one breath most of the time because there's a lot there.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know why WWE ever let him go. He is a fantastic announcer.
He's
Like,
amazing. He's amazing.
and he
But
will make jokes just for the boys in the back. Like, that is all the North Carolina thing is for.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. Exactly. A lot of these guys will do very specific thing. Well, it's like Tony Schimmel with Edge, the rated R superstar. Like it just became a rib on Edge because they were good buddies. But yeah.
just and like yeah, it's just perfect. I still think the Impact announcer is Tony Schimmel. I still think it is. It sounds exactly like him.
It's not.
I know it's not. I know we've talked about who it is, but it's just it sounds exactly like him.
He sounds very
And maybe he
very
tries to
close.
model himself after that to try, to make it a recognizable voice,
The
but
ring announcer is David Penzer.
yeah, we've talked about that
Yeah.
before.
Oh. Okay. Okay, he worked for WCW.
Oh, nice.
That's why I know him. Okay. Been trying to figure out who he was for a long time. Anyways, main event, which I can only assume will be the main event. The
I imagine it
three-way,
will be.
yeah, the three-way tag team match for the Impact World Tag Team Championships. The Good Brothers, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson, the champs at this time, against Chris
Brother me
Sabin.
softly.
Oh yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Against Chris Sabin and James Storm, who were just added this past Tuesday, and also against Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn.
With their manager.
Big Money Matt. Big Money Matt Hardy.
Yeah. And
Uh,
I mean, if you can't see where the win is going in this, like, you're blind.
Sabin or Storm are eating the pin from
Yeah.
Private Party.
With assistance from either Matt or Tony Khan
We
or
know
Jerry and
Tony's gonna
Lynn.
be there. We
Yeah,
know Tony's gonna
so
be there from the paid ad. I can only
yeah.
assume we're gonna have a Jerry Lynn bit in there too, which I mean I love Jerry Lynn.
Jerry.
So, but I think it will be a decent show.
It'll be a great match, and in no way will the finish dock the match because
Oh no.
unfortunately I trust shows like this. I don't trust WWE to do right.
Well, I cross my fingers for this show. And I'm sure even if Private Party doesn't pick it up, like we know Sabin and Storm aren't taking the titles, if we're being honest.
Yeah, so it's either Good Brothers or Private Party, and either
Here
way, the story's going to continue on AEW.
the thing is, Sabin and Storm, one of them eats the pin either way. Because
Yes,
Private Party
exactly.
does not eat the pin and Good Brothers don't eat the pin. No
Exactly.
way. No way.
Exactly.
But yeah.
And it'll be an overall fantastic show.
Should be. Should be. I mean, the card looks good, so.
Barring botches all the way through every single match.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, You want to move on to the other pay-per-view, the
Yeah, we
Sunday
might as well.
pay-per-view, which is NXT Takeover Vengeance Day.
Yeah, this one should be a little quicker because for whatever reason, I only have 5 matches on the card. Do you have more than that?
Nope.
I was gonna say
There's only 5 fucking matches on the card?
there's only
What
5
the
matches on the
fuck?
card,
Well,
whereas there's 9 on No Surrender.
huh. That's interesting. Okay. Well, I guess we'll start here with the NXT North American Championship match. We have Mr. Takeover, Johnny Gargano, the reigning champ, against Kushida.
Yes, I feel like Kushida's gonna win, but Dexter Lumis is going to help immensely with the way being in the way. Um, I hate that that's the name of them because you say that term so often in things.
Yeah, I can see Theory getting involved.
Yeah, for sure.
Loomis taking out Theory, which distracts Gargano. Kushida hits whatever his finisher is, locks in whatever his finisher is, and takes the
The
match.
hoverboard lock, I believe,
Is it?
is what they keep
Okay.
calling
Okay. Um,
it.
but that's what I can see there.
Yeah, and I think it has to be Gargano losing in a clean
In a
sense, to
clean sense,
as in
yes.
not a DQ.
Yep. Yep. Agreed.
So that way the belt gets dropped.
Um, yeah. Now what's number 4 on here? I'm actually gonna skip by because it's actually one of the bigger ones on the card. Uh,
Sure.
and we'll hit up the women's the NXT Women's Championship match because there wasn't a shit ton of build towards it, sadly. But we
No, it really
have
seemed kind of thrown in.
it does. We have the champion Io Shirai against Mercedes Martinez and Toni Storm. I'm pretty sure we both have the same pick here. We think Sunday is going to be Tony time.
Yeah, but
Tony
I
time.
feel like because Tony's playing the heel character here, Io's gonna hit her big move. I have no idea what it's called. And
What, the
on
moonsault?
is that what it is?
Yeah, she hits a moonsault. I don't know if
Okay.
there's something that leads up to it. I would assume there
Okay.
is, but
So she's gonna hit her moonsault and on Martinez, and Tony's gonna come in, dump her out of the ring, and then do her finisher.
I can guarantee you there will be one specific spot in this match, and it will be the recreation of the finals of the Mae Young Classic between Tony and Io, because that
More
was
than
the
likely.
finals where Tony won. We will get that same finish where Io goes for whatever, Tony hits her finisher, but it's gonna be a 2 count. And it's going to be a matter of like I beat her last time with this, and then I do see very much so Io hitting a moonsault. And I don't even know if Tony necessarily hits Storm Zero. I would assume she just
Well,
tosses Io out and pins Mercedes just to
I
pick
wouldn't
it
be.
up.
I'm just going off of the fact that because Mercedes Martinez is this brute, they want to try to make her look protected as well. But if I wouldn't be mine.
The
I can't
only
speak.
way
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, the only way I see her hitting her finish, I wouldn't be upset with the end. Io hits the moonsault. Tony comes in, tosses her off, gets a 2, pulls her up, hits the finish, gets the 3.
Yeah.
Um, but I think either way, we probably got Tony Storm walking away from this as champ.
And I'm excited for that because I have loved her since she made her debut.
Yes, I watched her pre NXT.
She's become a lot, like, I don't want to say bigger, but bigger, like, since her debut.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Um,
Like she's gained muscle mass.
oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. Um, and
Because
sticking,
I don't want to sound like a perv on the internet.
you got to be careful on the internet. Yeah. Uh,
Exactly.
women's Dusty Cup tag team or the women's Dusty Road Tag Team Classic Finals Dusty Cup. The winners receive a WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match in the future.
Yeah.
The finals here we've got Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart against Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. I would assume we see Kai and Gonzalez win.
That's who I'm
Uh,
assuming.
because they are solidified as a duo, where, not to take away from Ember Moon and Shotzi, but they were thrown together for this tournament. And I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not the first ones thrown together for a Dusty tournament to win. Literally,
Joe
Balor
and
and
Balor
Joe.
comes to mind.
Like, um,
But yeah, no, exactly. Like I mean, it could go either way, but the logistics points to Kai and Gonzalez.
yeah, yeah, I agree there. And obviously, speaking of the Dusty Cup, men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Finals winners receive an NXT Tag Team Championship match in the future. We have MSK, which is Nash Carter and Wesley, against the grizzled young vets James Drake and Zach Gibson. MSK.
MSK is going to win, but it's going to be a really fast-paced match, and at the end, they're going to shake hands.
I think this match is gonna fucking tear the house down.
Oh, it's probably going to be, if not the best match of the night, the best match of the night.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because the only match I can see topping it might be Balor and Dunn.
Yeah. Which, speaking of, the NXT Championship is on the line. Finn Balor, the champion, against Pete Dunne. Um,
I think Finn's going to retain in this barn burner of a match, but Oni and Danny are going to get involved, and Undisputed Era is going to come out to make the save.
I was just gonna say the same thing. Yeah, I think all roads lead to Rome in this sense. It
Yeah.
all comes back to what
And
we've
it's
been
not like
building
a
for
team
weeks.
up. It's just a mutual respect between Undisputed Era and Balor.
Exactly. Exactly.
None of these have to be team ups. It's not Balor joining Undisputed Era, although I wouldn't mind it.
I wouldn't argue.
I mean, could you imagine what they could do with those 5 guys?
Yes, please.
Talk about open borders much.
Oh, I wish.
Vince, can you, I don't want to say like croak, but like, could you hand the company over to Triple H?
It's okay for us to want Tommy Dreamer to croak because MJF said so, but
I don't mean that. I never wish death on anyone. It's just I really want WWE to play a part in this open borders thing.
Balor with the Undisputed Era against Kenny Good Brothers and Bucks.
Right?
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I just got excited.
Again, the current Bullet Club, which, I mean, you're talking what, Jay White, Gorillas, and then I'm trying to think Kenta, and then you'd have to. I know there's more members, but I'm not privy to
Well,
them right
isn't there
now.
a constant? There's always the one constant one. The Japanese, the one that Kenny would always make jokes with BTE.
Is he still in it?
I think so. He's been a lifer for it.
Bullet Club. Let's do a
I
quick.
hate to say it, but I feel like he has a really generic Japanese name.
Not Chase Owens. Not him. Oh yeah, I forgot Evil was in here. I I'm not 100% sure, cuz I mean the Takahashi, I can't say his first name. Yujiro.
Yujiro.
Yeah, Takahashi. Yeah, potentially, I guess.
Or Tachi Ishimori.
So that was, if I'm not mistaken, Bone Soldier. If you remember years ago,
Yeah.
back in college, talking about Bone Soldier, and
Yeah.
but yeah, like we got like Kenta,
Or
Jay
Gato.
White. Yeah. You know what though? I could honestly see it being Jay White, Gorillas being Tamatonga and Tongaloa, Bad Luck Fale, and the worst part is, I guess I'll give it to Kenta because that ties in that
Yeah,
ties
it
in a
ties in
lot
story wise.
with like the NXT shit and that with Hideo Itami shit like that.
Interesting note here. Did you know Scott D'Amore was a part-time member of Bullet Club?
Yes, I did. That's also like Jeff Jarrett was a member at one
Yeah.
point. Um,
Uh,
yeah,
there was a quite a Stephen Amell.
yeah, yeah. His was
Very brief.
very brief. Well,
Yeah,
almost
but
a
anyway,
year.
we ran through the whole card, right?
Yes, I think we did. Flipping tabs here, making sure, because we start talking Bullet Club and that
We start
becomes.
talking well, I guess we've been away from SmackDown for so long that we've been talking good shows for a long time.
That's
But
just it. I'm trying to not focus on the shit show I spent 2 hours of my life watching. 2 hours I will never fucking get back.
that was a horrible SmackDown, and they had a layup of a show.
Yep, yep.
Like an absolute layup.
Yeah, if I never have to see what I saw tonight, if I never have to see it again, I'll be happy. I literally don't want to see it so much that I'm already deleting my notes from tonight.
I actually keep all of my notes so that way in the future I can go back.
Yeah, no, I never want to come back to this episode. Never in my fucking life do I want to come back to this episode.
Oh, come
So,
on, but you don't want to experience Roman Reigns' longest entrances ever?
no. No, I don't. So, excuse me. Well,
I would say that that is all we have for tonight then.
I would say so too. Thank you for anybody who tuned in to this late night. If you watched it live, if you're listening after the fact, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, we appreciate every single one of you wanting to join.
Blake Smith is an absolute legend. Love you, King.
Thank you.
Oh,
I don't know who you are.
but yeah, thank you everybody for listening, and yeah, as always, if you want to know any more Walking the Ropes, you can check out our link tree, which is in our descriptions or bios everywhere. That includes our links to our Twitch to listen to us live, as we're live multiple times a week, as well as our Twitter to stay up to date and vote in polls. You can find just about everywhere you can listen to us podcast platform wise, as well as soon, as it was mentioned at the top of the show, we will be on iHeartRadio as well, as we just got approved there. The link will be there probably within the next 24 to 48 hours.
Yep.
And yeah, with that being said,
Thank you very much. We appreciate the support there.
yes. Um, but yeah, you got anything else to add there, Blake?
No, if on our our Twitters there, if you ever see news and stuff like that, give us a tweet because we constantly are scrolling through the different news sites on wrestling forums and whatever, trying to keep up to date on everything. We don't always see everything, so we're gonna try to keep as up to date as we can, but you guys will be able to help us out with that too. So if you can, give us a tweet if you see something cool. Sorry.
Benefits of the late night podcast here. You're always stumbling
Yeah.
over your words. But yeah, with that being said, we will be back Monday, more than likely at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Obviously, follow us on Twitter to know when we are going live. We will post. As well as we just went over the two big pay-per-views this weekend, we will be posting polls after each one. So hop on our Twitter and vote in those polls. Let us know what you thought of the shows.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
with that being said, we will see everybody live back here on Monday. So
Yeah, we'll
take
see you
care.
then.